Well, hello there. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another edition. How are y'all doing? I think it's trying to keep a straight face. Hey, Roger. Hey, John. Hey, Lulu. Hey, Missy Hammer. Hey, Michelle. So, how are you, Athena? Welcome to another edition.
I'm doing good. I just noticed your hair. Gotta love it.
They're eating the cats and the dogs.
Oh no, we're gonna call you Fabio.
Yes, right.
I don't want to call you that other name of that person who said those crazy ass things. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, right. So, yeah. But hello, Lorna. Welcome to everybody. I know, right? So hey, I'm not doing a Halloween show, so I'm gonna dress up. So yeah, why can't I? So, hey,
well, I'm not doing a Halloween show, but I am doing my Halloween Zoom class tomorrow night. So for all you guys again that. If you're not trick-or-treating and you want to do something spooky cool on Halloween, come join us for 2 hours, 6 to 8 p.m. Central Time. It's only $25. And if you can't afford that, message me privately. I don't care. Just come. We'll figure it out. All right. So
absolutely.
Anyway, I'm doing that tomorrow. I'm glad to be home. And so everyone's looking around saying, oh, yeah, she's back in her chair, back in my little sanctuary corner with my crystals and all my little sacred objects and things, getting that good mojo energy into the mix. So you look like a bee. A BG. Oh my God.
Anyways, there you go, Lulu.
Oh my God. You're killing me. I love it. I love it.
You know what's really funny is I'm really not bald. Yeah, I'm not. I shaved my head. Even Mary said the other day, she's like, Grizzly, you got hair. And I'm like, I'm Jewish. She says I'm Jewish because my nose, but anyways.
That's funny. That's funny. Right. Yeah.
So
you want to take a minute
on your trip. So tell us about your trip.
So my trip was really cool once I was there, right? The travel coming and going, not so nice. The checking in, checking out, not so nice. But this beautiful place on the Yucatan Peninsula where I was staying was part of what used to be total jungle all the way up to the edge of the water. And it had the coolest energy. And I kind of wanted to, step back, and I meditated a little bit on the Mayans that used to be there. And like, I was trying to think like, what sort of messages do I want to take away from, this energy or soak in? And there were a couple. The first was, we have to be better stewards of our planet, because when for as beautiful as it was and the resort was, it was still so invasive to the nature there. And, it's like there's such a fine line between progress and greedy stupidity and like short-sightedness. It's like, if you cut down all the trees in the Amazon, you've just ripped out the lungs of the planet. If you pave over paradise, you got a parking lot. But you don't have paradise anymore, right? So you have to kind of think it through. And what brought part of this message home was I was by the pool one day, and all of a sudden this like really big, creepy, prehistoric looking iguana with spikes on the back of its neck and back came slithering. Well, not slithering so much. It was kind of plodding like this. Came out, and somebody by the pool, of course, when you're drinking at these resorts, you get all kinds of good beverages, and alcoholic or not, but they also usually come with a piece of fruit, either on the side of the glass or on a toothpick or something, in it. And so this little iguana creature keyed on into somebody's glass that had the piece of fruit on it, and he had decided that was going to be his. Well, oh my God, you would not have believed the hubbub that happened with everybody trying to shoo it away and chase it away. And I'm like, hey, we're in his home, And if you're not stupid to put food down on his level, you can't be blaming the little guy for trying, or wanting it, So it just kind of got me thinking a lot about, are we really mindful enough of the impact we're having and are we actually destroying the very thing we're yearning to experience, the beautiful nature in some of these paradise places? Are we actually destroying it or hurting it, in our efforts to make it accessible to people? So I was kind of pondering on that a little bit. And I was also thinking about the Mayans and how resilient anybody must have been who was living in that neck of the woods, so to speak, before air conditioning and refrigeration came around. Because I will tell you, I'm there visiting in off season, right? It's almost November. And it was still 100 degrees and the humidity was probably 100% too, right? I'm thinking, all right, if I didn't have this air conditioning and a lot of cool drinks with ice in it, whether they were alcoholic or not, I was still a sweat ball. And I was still like, yeah, I know why they do siesta, because I don't know how the hell anybody operates anything or moves even or walks in that. And the sun was so intense. I already had a base tan, but I was like, there's just a few spots I'm like, oh, I better put some extra sunscreen, or I need some aloe now because it's, I feel it crispy, right?
Right.
So, but it just made me realize the resiliency and the cleverness of the ancient peoples that lived in places like this, that without all the modern conveniences, I don't know how many of us in general in Western society would be able to survive, let alone thrive and have great culture and family and innovate things, if we had to try to just operate and function in extreme heat, humidity, and wildlife encroaching all around you, right? If you
I would die without my air conditioners, what I would do.
Right. So it gave me a great appreciation for them. And it also started me thinking about the space brothers and sisters or beings that came to them with knowledge, those ancient wisdoms of astrology and astronomy and how to do different things, mathematics and whatnot. So I'm like, I think part of the credit of how a lot of the ancient civilizations survived some of these really harsh conditions is because they had a relationship with their gods, right? With the beings that would come to them and share wisdom. They were open to that. And I was thinking, okay, so let's assume that the benevolent interdimensional beings come on through sometime and make themselves known, really known, in the next year or two, right? So it's not this like we think there's a UAP. There's definitely here. Look, there's a craft, and oh, there's a being, and oh, they're here now. Yeah, they really do exist, right? So I think that if we understood the key role that these benevolent beings who love our earth, who love us, whether we're their offspring, distant cousins, or them reimagined a few planets removed, right? I don't care. Or if we're the colonists who left their planets millennia ago and wound up coming here. I don't care what the nature of that ancestry relationship might be. I do want people to feel and know that their benevolence has been a helpful component to humanity's surviving and thriving on this planet and learning and growing and coming into community with each other and harmony with each other and healing and learning and all of the things that they brought. We have the ability, if we're open, to say, what else you got? Okay, we're a few thousand years later, what's the update? What else should we know about that would help our planet, heal our discord, heal the contention? What do we need to know or do, that will help, right? But I think if people are so fearful and they don't understand that they played this role in the past and they're willing to do it again now, I think we might miss a really wonderful opportunity. And from what I understand, they're kind of waiting. They're like, they every now and again, they put the toe in the water, right? Like, are they ready yet? Are they ready yet? Are they ready yet? Right? Is this going to tilt tilt the cosmic, scale way off balance, or is it going to help bring balance? And because they really do have that kind of prime directive that most doctors do of at first thing, do no harm, right? Always make it better if you can, but don't make it any worse. And so that's something that they're trying to do. So one of the challenges and thoughts I'd love our audience to think about is, how can we help assist that cultural 100th monkey type of change in the way that people perceive or how they think about these benevolent interdimensional beings, right? And so I've been trying to refer to anything that was of a dimension that's not here 3D as that benevolent interdimensional being, whether they were an angel, a guide, a loved one in spirit, or what we would call an alien, right? So whatever that is. So if we can hold that, knowing that they're here to help us, they've been here to help us, like for as long as we've been here, they've been here to help us. So we would just be foolish to reject the help that they want to offer us, and or be fearful or believe, some of these crazy movies that, oh yeah, they're coming to destroy us or eat us or get rid of us and take over our planet or what, all the sci-fi stuff, right? So I think if we can help cultivate that spirit of oneness, openness, gratitude for how they've helped in the past and how they might be able to help us in the future, I think that will help not just open the door or the portal for them to come through sooner and in more obvious ways. I think it'll also help the volunteer army that's needed of those of us on this side of the veil who have eyes to see and ears to hear and a heart to love and be inclusive and help to translate and help to pass on the messages. All the mediums that are out there, or people that are ascribing to become a medium that are willing to help bring those messages through. I think it's important to kind of get people to kind of raise the hand and say, yeah, sure, I'm willing. Well, yeah, what do you got? What do I need to do? What do I need to learn? What do I need to practice so that I can be ready and be part of that positive change and that healing that'll be possible if, when they come through, we are in more of that oneness, gratitude, love, higher vibration, quickened vibration than the fearful one that I would say probably 90% of the population would find themselves just out of ignorance or pre-programming from other powers that be or movies or whatnot. What do you think about that, Grace? Because I know you were just down doing some.
Absolutely. So, what is an alien? Alien is anything that is not a human race that we do not know what it is, right?
Right.
So it's very interesting because when I was traveling filming, there were things that we witnessed and saw that we could not explain because we do not know if it is man-made or something outside this universe. Now, our constraints that we know that it's aircraft, we know that man cannot withstand the G-forces and the constraints of the maneuvers, right? So it's just interesting, and it's just fascinating. I think that we are an experiment from the aliens. That's just my theory, but who knows?
Sure. Well, you wouldn't be alone in that. I mean, there's whole books. What is it? The 12th Planet. Was it Sitchin? I think that's his name. Zechariah Sitchin had a whole series about, that the Anunnaki and that we were basically the science project, and they wanted, I think the premise of that was, and for those of you who are like really into them, please forgive me for paraphrasing and chunking way the hell up. But, and if I have it wrong, feel free to put something in the chat to clarify. But I believe the premise of the whole thing was they were looking for another planet that had the resources that they needed to mine, like the gold and some of our other minerals that are unique here. And they wanted to create, I'm not going to call it a slave army, but a population of malleable beings that would be able to do some of the labor for them. And so they kind of started a project. And I think part of the mythological beings that you hear about, or even some of the scriptural beings that you read about, like where the offspring of the gods, with the sons and daughters of man, turned out to be like some of the superheroes of the scripture, like, Hercules and some of those guys, right? Or mythology, or Samson and some of those guys. Or you have the giants like Goliath, that were supposedly 9 feet tall and all this kind of stuff. And then you have, with the mythology, it says basically what was in the books was that there was 2 different groups, and one of the sciencey minded ancient aliens decided he basically fell in love with his creation, right? And he's like, well, I love this and I want to make it better. And so he improved the DNA to make us smarter and live longer and do all this kind of stuff. And then as time went on, they realized, okay, this is not going to work, and that was part of the reason for the flood, to wipe out and try everything all over again. And they had their discussions and decided, okay, we'll give them this sense of free will and free choice and allow them to develop and see where it goes. And, and we'll do some of our own work, in our hidden places on the planet where they can, tuck away under the oceans or under the volcanoes or in the mountains and their other interdimensional portals.
Right.
So I think, essentially that was one potential version of it. And it's like, and the other is we were actually the Martians when they knew their planet was being was going to become uninhabitable because they were losing their atmosphere, I believe because of meteor hits or something, and it created this hostile environment, and they were all underground initially, and they're like, okay, we need to colonize. What's the next best place? Oh, look at Earth. Yeah, that looks good. Let's go there. And so, our great ancestors could be actually the colonists that left Mars to come here, right? So there's lots of theories about, were we created by them? Were we the offspring of them? And, of course, for people that look back at, okay, what God is, it's like, all right, well, were they the gods that created us? But still, like, there still has to be some source that started that. So who built the Martians, or who created the Anunnaki, or who create, like you can keep going back and it's like, well, who was before them, or who created that, or where did that come from? So I try not to get too wrapped up personally on defining what God is, because as I've said many times on these episodes, I know for a fact we are finite minds trying to understand the infinite. And by that very definition, we can't understand it. We can't get it right. We can't know it fully because we are the drop of the ocean. We're not the ocean. We're part of the ocean, and we're a distinct drop in it, but try to understand all the complexities and all the little depths and who else is living in that ocean. We can't do that. Not from here, maybe later when we're back in the ocean and have a tour guide. Okay, show me, what's this? As we go scuba awaying. So we'll see. I see there's a big thunderstorm brewing in my area here. So just a little heads up. If for some reason I lose power, or I do have a generator, if I leave, I'll log right back in, but just in case.
Well, I think that we can take care of it because, anyways, I can't even act like them because I'm laughing so hard. Now, little Kristen says, I haven't heard that word in a long time. Martians.
Yep. Hey, speaking of just we can take care of it. Y'all out there in Bigfoot land, we need to send some good vibes and healing energy to our beloved Grizz. All right. So I ask everybody just take a minute in whatever way feels good to you, whether it's healing energy, whether it's a prayer, whether it's just good thoughts and for his healing and health. But he said he would be open to that. He has a little pain going on there. So we're going to all do our little best. And if you listening to this after the fact, and whether it's a week from now or a month from now or a year from now, you can still send loving, good, heavenly energy his way, because you know what? We take on whatever good things are sent our way. We use it when and where we need it. And a little extra after the fact doesn't hurt, because we can kind of soak that away and wherever we need it now. Absolutely, so everybody still send a little extra loving and little energy and good mojo to our host with the most, our producer of all producers, Chris Grizzly. All right, raise the roof, everybody. Send some good energy.
That's right.
All right. So today I had gone through like a really weird miscommunication with some dear friends, and I was just mystified at what went wrong, because my whole intention was to help heal and bring things into balance. And my stars, how it just like spun in their interpretation into something it wasn't. And it went, and I'm like, when I got back was like, I was in shock. I'm like, wait, how did this happen? Okay. So when I picked the cards today, I got really interesting insights. So most of the time when I'm picking cards, I'll relate to them a tiny bit, but I know, since before I pick any cards, I ask the angels and guides that work with us to make this message something that a lot of people in the group can relate to and would find some meaning from. And whether you're watching it live or whether you're listening or watching a week, month, year from now, shouldn't matter. If you're tuning into this episode, these messages should help or resonate with you in some way. And again, I ask people to think, does it make sense to your head? Does it feel right in your heart? Does it ring true in your gut? Right? That's how you check. They're like, oh yeah, that's part for me. So if it goes ding, ding, ding in any of those places, it's partly for you. All right. So the first card I picked was mercy. And I was like, mercy? What's mercy about? And the angel card talks about developing the quality of mercy to forgive yourself and everyone around us. And it said, look, just be magnanimous and have that sense of mercy, which extends grace to other people. And it helps you spread your light and feel more joy and freedom. And even if this might mean that the angels of mercy are offering you release from any pain or difficulties from your past, we should accept that as a merciful act. So even if something weird happened, it's kind of like, what's the blessing or opportunity in what you're perceiving as a what the hell moment, right? So then my next card that I picked was the angel card of let your past go. I'm seeing a trend here, right? And it says the burden of carting around your past makes you weary. So, dear one, it's time to set the burdens down. It's time to keep the lessons, keep the love. And if things are feeling like you're putting, and this is my paraphrasing, if things are feeling like you're trying to jam a wooden round peg into a square hole, just stop, put the peg down, put the game down. Don't worry about it anymore. Just let it go. You don't need it. And it can transform or change into something else only after you've let it go from the expectations of how you think it should be or want it to be now. So we have to be willing to give ourselves and them the grace, the situation, the person, whatever it happens to be, to let it go in order to have it transform into.
Oh, it looks like the storm's starting to get her.
Plus. Go count. Okay, so I think I'm back. I don't see Grizz.
Yeah.
The storm is here. Okay, all right. I'm back. Yeah, it probably was the I have a Starlink satellite and it doesn't like storms real well, but I'm gonna figure something else out. All right, and the last card I got. So one is have mercy, let go of your past, and then what does that lead to? The last card I picked was progress, and I was like, yeah, advancement on your journey. Keep going forward regardless of other people's opinions. Appreciate your achievements, no matter how small, and let them motivate you. So what I thought was this, well, I did think it was this kerfuffle of a, wow, what happened here? This, how could I have such clear intentions one way and somebody take them totally different, and more of a rift or divide. And then like, I got those cards. I'm like, all right, you know what? I think that happens a lot for us in life, you know, that there's misunderstandings. But what this is implying is sometimes those misunderstandings create the space in which a relationship or an opportunity can be transformed into something else. And if you're not willing to let it go, it can't come back to you in its reimagined form. And so then I picked some tarot cards, and I got the Knight of Cups upside down, and this is past, present, future. So upside down was, you know, when you have these relationships and where you feel like things are not quite working, what does it do? It drains us, right? And when we're looking for the hero in the story, we have to be that hero. And we feel like, well, I'm not making progress here because I feel like I'm losing everything instead of getting it, right? So we're frustrated. But then we're in the now, and in the now, boom. I know that was a close one. That was a flash bang, like boom, right in a row. It's close. The card here, the Four of Cups, this is about allowing the opportunities to come from the heavens. We have to not be so worried about protecting what's right in front of us that we miss out on the new gifts and things that are available and coming in. And then the last card is the Fool card. And the only way that, and it's reversed, because it reminds us that only way that we're the fool is if we don't think we still have something left to learn. So that whole list there, it really resonated with me a lot. And I figure, you know, I imagine that for some of y'all out there too, it's like, yep, totally resonates with me and I get it. Any of that resonate with you there, Mr. Grizz?
Yeah, it sure does. Hey, Joey, welcome. And it was really interesting. Look what I drew. The Five of Wands.
There you go.
So does that not correlate with everything you've been talking about so far? Absolutely.
Because we have the Five of Wands, to me, means this is a time to use your intuition to kind of figure out of all the chaos, what are the core things that are most important, and then get everybody kind of pulling the oars on the boat all together in order to make the progress so that we all get there, not just random stuff. That's again, chunked way up, but is that sort of how you interpret that card too there, Grizz?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. With your conversation. Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
And then the last thing I asked Spirit was, of course, my little plug for my book, Portal to Potential. With all the channeled writings in there, I said, okay, Spirit, what's the most important thing that I can share tonight? And what came, I opened up to a bunch of, let's see what page is that? Actually, for those of you who have the home edition, it's on page 64. It talks about, do not be frustrated by the results of earlier attempts. Continue to work on refining, preparing, and allowing. Persevere, and you will enjoy the results. And it says also, and these are like random thoughts that had come to me as I was channeling at different times from Spirit. And so it says, hold on to your desire, fueled by compassion and your love. Know that you are gathering momentum as you learn what your process is and will be to develop proficiency and mastery of the gifts, tools, abilities, and knowledge that you need and long to find and apply. Remember, it is called practice because you're experimenting and learning what works best, most effectively, and efficiently for you. Because I was pondering on what is a spiritual practice, and that came through. It's like, oh yeah, practice. You got to keep working it until you figure it out, right? And so, we approach a lot of this with great creativity and curiosity and willingness, but we also have to be willing to have the ouches, like when you're working out, sometimes you drop the darn barbell and you hit your toe, or sometimes, hopefully not with too much weight. Sometimes the day after a really good workout, you are sorer than sore and you're like, man, what was I thinking? But what do they say? What do you have to do to build muscle? You got to tear. The building of muscle only happens if you're willing to push it enough that it tears, and then the body repairs it and heals it. And that's how you build muscle. So it made me wonder, is that the same way we build our spiritual muscles, right? Do we have to have something that basically tears and feels like it's broken in order for us to open up to the guidance, to use our gifts, to go through the healing on whatever level is needed in order to have that growth and to develop that spiritual muscle in a stronger way. Because a lot of times I think these metaphors or things that happen on a worldly level for us on this 3D side, I think if we're smart, part of that eyes to see and ears to hear and heart to love and feel and a mind to comprehend, those components of, like, if we're really paying attention, there's so many metaphors and allegories and similes that are out there that we can go, oh, we can apply the same sort of thing to our spiritual growth and to attaining our soul's purpose and figuring out our place in the universe, starting with maybe what's our place in the world, or the place in my community or my family, or, how do I fit in my own skin, right? Because there's so many people today, especially a lot of the youngins out there, they don't feel good in their own skin. They don't know if they're male or female. They don't know what they want in life. They don't know if they want to ever come together and have children or not, or have a career or not, or, they don't even feel good in the now and know what their place is in their own self, let alone how they fit in relationship to other. And so I think part of a spiritual practice, whether that's just meditating or sitting, or as we shared last week, my girlfriend Ashley's quick and dirty rule, for not quick and dirty, but easy peasy, lessons for how to meditate and have a spiritual practice. It can be just as simple as sit down, find a place that's comfortable, shut up, right? Be quiet, see what comes, right? Breathe. Focus on the breath if you need to. So if things will help or stressing you out, just calm down, follow the breath, use the breath to help you expand your consciousness. And don't get on the bus. Don't go on those mental adventures that take you away from what you're doing in that moment. Stay focused, right? So spiritual practices can be anything that works for you, that helps you feel like you are more of yourself, that you know what that means, that it gives you a sense of calm or peace or joy or love, forgiveness, compassion, all of those things that we are probably very willing to share with others. We first have to cultivate within ourselves, and understanding that grace is that available to all of us, because it's about oopses, right? It's about learning. It's about, I got to break those muscle fibers in order to eventually have it heal and get stronger. So I think what's really important is for us to notice when we have those oopses, when we have the opposite reaction to a communication than we intended. It's like, whoa, hold on. What do I need to learn from this? What do I need to do better? What do I need to do? Okay, yeah, I need to be willing to let go of what I was holding on to that was trying to keep them, me, us in a certain way, versus allowing it to kind of, all right, let that kind of go, give it a little space, and see how does it reform? How does it come back after a little bit of time? And I think that's kind of what our spirit guides do, right? They come real close. They help us in a crisis. They help us transform, and then they kind of go away. They're there somewhere, and
right.
and they kind of check back in. Okay, how's she doing? What's going on? How's he doing? What do you need? Okay, good. Yep. Next. Occasionally they rescue our butt when we screw up big time. Other times they pat us on the back and they give us that feeling of, oh man, you are so on track. You go, girl. You go, guy. It's good. But, I think I was under the delusion, and I don't know if other people are like this, and I would love to have y'all comment, and let me know what you're feeling on it. But I was under the delusion that if you were a good person and you were on a spiritual path and you were working really hard to always do the right thing, your life would be fairly smooth and uncomplicated, and you'd be filled with all kinds of blessings and joy, and life would basically be easy and good. Did any of the rest of y'all feel that way? That's kind of what I had thought, right? And then life smacks us up beside the head, and you're like, wait a minute, what? why is all this bad stuff happening to me? I'm a good person. I'm on a spiritual path. I'm right? All this stuff, right? I'm in the service of others. Why am I getting why am I getting slapped from the universe here? I'm like, it didn't make sense. But when you think about what does it take to progress? What does it take to stop us from whatever we're doing that was distracting us and get us back to the core of our being? What does it take? I remember years ago, one of my first spiritual teachers said, it's really important that we pay attention to the whispers, the small, still voice, right? The subtle things that come. Because if you don't listen to the whispers, then those powers that be will have to raise their voice. And, then if you still don't hear that, then they're going to have to yell at you. And then if they don't, and that still doesn't get your attention and get you doing what you're supposed to be doing from what you wanted to be doing, by the way, and just forgot that you were the one who made this plan to start with, then they have to up the ante, and maybe they have to hit you up the side of the head with a 2x4 or hit you with a Mack truck or whatever, right? Or a bus or something. It's like it just gets bigger and louder and bigger and louder until you finally hear the message, right? Or you're paying enough attention. So I think the more we put some energy and effort into being self-aware, asking good questions, and trying to figure out, what am I supposed to learn from this situation? What's the blessing in disguise here? I think the quicker we can get through those uncomfortable moments and turn them into those teachable moments, get that grace, get that peace, get that joy. Because if we get stuck in the wallowing in it, or feel like there's, just feel like, this is, the pity party that is so natural to fall into when you feel like the universe is just imploded and you're getting beat up on everywhere you turn. It's really easy to get stuck in that poor me victim kind of feeling. And what our soul and our spirit says is you are a child of the universe. You could never be poor in any way unless part of you agreed to it. So figure out what part of you agreed to it and change it. Figure out what you need to do to claim that birthright of being the son or daughter of the creation of all that is, and use that power, use that connection to manifest more of what you want and get through. No, you're not alone. So that if you are in the midst of one of these crises, dark nights of the soul, challenges that are challenging you beyond what you think is even possible, ask for help. You're not alone, right? So there's so many different ways to kind of look at every little thing that goes through our life. And boy, our attitude and how we think about things makes all the difference of how much it hurts, how long it lasts, and whether or not we can flip it and turn those lemons into that lemonade and figure out, again, what's that blessing in this situation? Or how can I take this situation and me be the blessing for somebody else, right? How can I extend grace? How can I shine my light? How can I share love and uplift others who are burdened with their hands, what's a dragon on the ground, right? The people with the weak knees that are feeble and feel like I can't take one more step. How do we help support those brothers and sisters on their journeys, right? So those are the kinds of things I wish we would think of more than allowing ourselves to get into that negative self-talk, because it's so natural, right? Something happens, we're like, oh God, I screwed up. How could I be such an idiot? Why did I do that? Blah, 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 right? We go down this little rabbit hole of how terrible we are. And that does nothing to help us fix the situation or figure out, well, what was I supposed to learn from that? Because we're in this spiral, this little death spiral of despair, right? We have to find ways to break that for ourselves. We cannot, well, at least I can't. Maybe some of y'all can, but I can't. Somebody just got a lemon. I love it. Thank you, Scott. I love it, love it, love it. Analogies that pop into my head while people are doing things that are actually part of that. Hello, my boy. My dog's a little freaked out because of the storm. Go, okay, you're okay. You'll be safe. I love you. You're good. Good boy. So one of the things that we need to do is really consciously make the shift. We can't control. Oh, that's what I said. I can't control. Maybe some of y'all can, but I can't control other people or what's happening in the environment around me. Maybe someday I'll get to that point, right? But right now I'm not quite there. But what I can control is my reaction, how I interpret. What does this mean to me? What am I supposed to do about this? How can I use this to help me get back on track or further along on my journey to where I want to and know I'm supposed to be going to fulfill the creation of my soul and actualize the purpose that I came here into this 3D physical reality this time, right? So we can train ourselves to ask the more effective, better questions, right? That's one of the reasons I wrote this book and shared this book and the writings, is because more than half of the book are questions that I got from spirit and channeled through of random thoughts and things to think about and truly ponder that can help us, help me and others figure out, what is this all about? Why am I here? What is my purpose? How do I have a better life? How can I have more simplicity in my life? Because my life is so dang complicated right now. I just want there to be a sense of peace and joy and love and time from my family and the people that mean the most to me. You know, I don't want to feel like all I do is I get up in the morning, I do my chores, I commute to work, I work my butt off, I hit some errands on the way home, I have a meal and maybe enjoy an evening with my loved ones, and then I go to bed exhausted and I repeat the same thing day after day after day. Slight variation on the weekend, and maybe once or twice a year I take a vacation and have some fun, right? And I know I was in that pattern for a long time, right? I had to make a conscious break from, wait a minute, just let's not go through this pattern mindlessly. Make sure I'm choosing for the right reasons to do the things I'm doing, and I'm willing to say yes to the universe and pounce on those opportunities when they show up so that I can become more. I can express more creativity. I can shine more of my light. I can feel joy in my life that's so palpable that other people around me are like, what's her secret? What does she know that I want to find out, right? And you all know people like that, right? Those people with that great energy that you're like, you just want to be around them. You want them to be your friend. You want to just hang out and like, okay, let's kick a few back together and let's tell some stories and have some fun, right? We all know people like that. Well, what makes them different from you right now? Probably just what were they paying attention to? What helped them get from where they were to that point? We are the result of the choices that we make, the thoughts that we have, the consequences of the actions and decisions that we've taken step after step or didn't take. Because, you know, we make a decision by not choosing, right? We have that default. That's actually a choice. Well, I can't choose. Well, you just did, right? Because then you get the default and you made that choice. So those are the kinds of things I've been pondering these last few days.
Nothing wrong with
All
that.
right.
It's great.
How y'all thinking? So tell me, you guys in the chat there, what are some of the things you want to know about? What have you been thinking about? What do you think about what I just said? I'd like to hear from you.
I totally agree with what you've been saying.
Okay.
So yeah, absolutely.
All right. So I'm looking at some of the chats here because I really do want to have a little bit more interaction with y'all. Because if you're taking the time to come on and listen to the show live, you should get a little bit more perk and advantage and get some personalized attention to your thoughts, your questions, your topics that you're just like wondering about and wanting to get a little insight more from somebody other than your normal group, right? So, and I'm far from normal, so I might be a good person to ask.
Right, Roger, Scott, Lorna, Joey, and Kathy, Little Twisted. Y'all have anything, any questions or comments you want to ask directly? Go ahead.
Or even an area you just like to know about. something that's been on your mind and heart. Well, how's your week been? What are you going through right now that I might be able to shine a little light on if I haven't already? Because, I do know how spirit works. And a lot of times the very things I've just been talking about and sharing, you going like, dang, yeah, that's it. But I got the feeling that there's still something else that's brewing that I haven't explicitly touched on. So what do y'all think?
The class coming up tomorrow is going to help a lot of people. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. So, talking about brewing things, right?
There's a lot of tension in the air over the election. I cringe over looking at Facebook. I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed tomorrow, and I'll leave it at that. So,
disappointed tomorrow. Something's going to happen, huh? Let's see. Tomorrow is Halloween. Well, so here's what I want to think about the election. I live in a swing state. I live in Wisconsin. I'm going to make sure I vote. But you know what? Even if you don't live in a swing state, get your butt to the polling place. And if you're not going to be around on election day, because I'm going to be in Sedona on election day, I'm getting my butt to my early polling place tomorrow, and I will be voting. Why? Because we live in a free society in a country where we can actually do that. And I want that to continue. And so if I just sit back and say, yeah, somebody else will handle it, well, then I have to sit there with my mouth shut and make sure that I'm not criticizing it because I didn't do my part to contribute to it or influence it in any way. Right. So it's sort of like put your energy in the mix, right? Hold the intention that the right people will wind up in the jobs they're supposed to for whatever right means, right? According to the universal plan, right? And then we trust, but we have to do our part. And I totally get what you mean. I literally went to the mailbox today and 9 out of the 10 pieces of mail in my mailbox were different oversized postcards about both sides' view on why the other people were the Antichrist and why the world will go to hell in a handbasket if that opponent should win, and why it's imperative that you go to the polls.
What time is your class?
Again, I'm grossly paraphrasing. They didn't actually call anybody the Antichrist, but they may as well. It's 6 p.m. Central Time tomorrow, which is American time, Central Time, right? So East Coast would be 7 p.m. And then I guess if you're in the UK, you got to add from New York to the UK. Is that 5 hours or something? Yeah, so that's going to be the middle of the night for y'all over there. Right. Yeah, but I tell you what, UK, if you want something of your own, and I tell you this, message me offline. I'm going to be around. We can set something up just for y'all. If there's 2 or 3 people, I can do it earlier in the day to make it doable for you. And that's that's something y'all should know about me. That if you have a topic you want a private class on for you and a couple of your friends, or there's a workshop of something you want to learn how to do, that you look at my bio and you go to AletheaJacob.com and you look down and you say, wow, she's done this, or she's taught this, and you want to take 2 from column A and 1 from column B and customize your own class and say, okay, we want it to be this long, 2 hours, 4 hours, a full day, a weekend workshop, a whole week, whatever. I don't care. You want to customize it, and these are what you want included, and this is the price point that you can operate at. I'll make it happen, because I truly believe with all my heart and soul that this point in my life is about service, outputting, downloading, sharing, and helping to get the information out there so that anyone who's curious can have a safe place to play and have a mentor or guide to help them when questions pop up, because questions will always pop up when you're entering into this world of mediumship or psychic gifts or spiritual gifts. And so it's important. It's important to really give yourself the opportunity to ask for what you need. And if you don't know, say, hey, I'm just interested in this topic. What do you got? I'll work with y'all. And I try to, like I said, I try to make it really price point friendly for folks, because I am blessed that I don't need the money I get from doing this in order to eat or pay my bills. Okay. This is my passion. It's my purpose. It's my joy, but I'm darn good at what I do. And I can command a good fee. You know, I've done a weekend retreat, a ladies retreat. Actually, it was around Halloween, and it was this whole mystical, magical manifesting weekend. And I charged $33 a person. Yeah, that's $3,333 for a 3-day class. And I had it full, you know, because I could deliver on the energy and what was there. But I've also worked psychic fairs where I got $7 for a single reading. I don't care where you are on the scale. If you are extremely wealthy and can afford to customize and fly me to your place and have this amazing, huge experiential thing that happens versus somebody that calls me up and says, I need to barter with you because I don't even have $25 to take your class. How can I take your class? And we'll figure something out. Right. Okay. I don't care. It's about being there. And that's how we need to be that way with each other, with all of our gifts and all of our knowledge and all of our heart, right? It shouldn't be about this ego driven, well, I deserve this amount, or I once charged this amount. And so unless you can pay that, I'm not even going to talk to you. It's like those people I want to smack. I'm sorry. I just want to be like, would you just get over yourself? Are you teaching the same, like we are all one? Well, is that how you would want somebody to treat your grandmother, your mom, you, your kids, your cousins? No, we're family. What the hell's the family discount for if you can't apply it to the world family, right? So yeah, that friends and family discount, that's a long way, right? Military discount should go a long way. You know, anybody who has served somebody, teachers, civil servants, firemen, policemen, anybody, Coast Guard, anybody who served the formal military, anybody who's a traffic cop, I don't care, a crossing guard, you're serving, you're helping. Are we all doing our best to serve each other? Yeah, okay. Then we all deserve the breaks. We all deserve that extra love. And the people that have done it in the bigger ways, they deserve the bigger breaks, right? I think if we all had that attitude of sharing our gifts, you know, I love the idea of barter because that's how we all started when we were in community. I have an orchard. I have bushels full of fruit. I bring those fruit over to the farmer who has fields full of vegetables. Hey, you want to trade? Yeah, okay, great. I can bring that fruit to the pig farmer or the cattle farmer down the road and say, okay, how many bushels of fruit do I need to give you so I can get so many pounds of meat for my family? Okay, done, right? Money was a way to make that barter process easier so that maybe my neighbor didn't need apples here, but boy, oh boy, there's somebody across the country that would love to have my apples, or would love to have my peaches or my plums or my pears or my Asian pears or any of the fruit that's in my orchard, right? They would love to have that. But I don't have an easy way to get it for them or to go see what they have to give me, right? And so because we started expanding and becoming more of a global community versus just the little local community, the barter system wasn't as effective as, oh, okay, let's create some kind of monetary standard and we can agree, well, how much is an apple worth? How much is a steak worth? How much is this vegetable worth, right? So
correct.
We did all that to make things easier. But what happened instead? I don't think it became easier. I think what happened is we forgot the intention of we're here to help each other. I have gifts to share with you. You have gifts to share with me. The product of your labor. You have a strength that I don't have. We brought that all together. And the fact that now we have this money thing, people let the money go to their head or their ego or whatever. And then it's like, well, the more I can charge, the better. No, it was just meant to make it easier for us to share with each other. Get back in your hearts, guys, you know, and ladies, let's get in our hearts again. Let's share. Let's be there for each other. All right. So any other question? Okay. Unrelated question. Oh, no. Anything else that anyone would love to share before we?
No, that's all. It's been a great show again.
All right. So Grizz, are you going to be on again at 9 o'clock tonight?
9 o'clock tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure and tune in.
All right. Well, I'll be back next Wednesday, I will not be in the chair again. I will be in Sedona. So I hope you all are enjoying my little on location broadcasts, because my belief is that when I'm in those places, I'm tapping into that energy and sharing that energy with you. And so I'll be broadcasting next week from Sedona, and hopefully you'll be able to tune into that. And if you're listening to this afterwards, check out that next episode down the line, and you'll see it's from Sedona, and enjoy that wonderful vortex energy and wherever that'll take us. To be continued. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Remember to shine your light, love each other, and do good things out there. Have a great week.
YouTube channel near you.